and you may take it away.
That's awesome. No, I love the big intro. I'm glad to hear all of the whole information that was just being shared. And for those of you who are sharing those Wakelets out, please, by all means, if you feel comfortable, share them out on Twitter. The team, there's 45 of us. Most of us are in the UK. 6 of us are in the States. We would love to see your collections retweet, help them get a bigger reach as well. So if you share something and you share it out on Twitter, make sure you tag me, tag the Wakelet account. We'll be happy to retweet and push that out even further. We love seeing everybody's awesome collections. And yeah, for sure. I know last time it was like open up the fire hydrant and here just comes all the Wakelet wave right at you and try to take as much in as you can. So I purposely made today a different structure for our workshop. So what I have planned, I just sent the collection out to you. You can all click that link and you can follow along. But just remember, if you are already in your Wakelet account, you should be able to click the sprocket wheel, click copy to, and you can make a copy of today's resources that are, crystal clear just for you. So at any time, please feel free to do that and utilize the chat to ask any questions. But I am going to give you time to build today, to ask questions, to play. I want to share you some resources. So you see I've got 64 items. Do the math, 64 items in 60 minutes, not quite enough time for everything. So I'm not planning on touching all of this information, but I wanted to give you everything that I could for today. So we know from most of you who have been here at the first session, you know the intro to Wakelet, so you don't need to even bother looking at these, but I hope you start noticing some new updates that weren't already available. So if you look at my screen, we've got a beta, we've got a video upload feature. So you're gonna start to see some new buttons that weren't here last time and you might not have access to just yet, but trust me, they're coming down the line so you can get excited and I'll explain these as we go. So this intro to Wakelet is for those of you who maybe didn't catch the first session and you're jumping in now, or if you just want to go back and rehash some of the reasons why Wakelet exists, what we do. But remember, we take all those hyperlinks, those docs, those materials, images, PDFs, and allows you to turn things into such powerful integrated lesson aspects. And again, we work with all of those tech tools, all of those resources from across the web. So we are like the EdTech party bus. Again, woo woo. You can play nicely with everybody, really shortening up those times. I had a teacher today say, Wakelet for the very first time really helped to shorten up those clicks in the classroom. And we know when we shorten up that time from students to click around in the web, we're shortening up the time it takes for them to get lost. So we don't want that to happen. So we are going to skip a little bit forward, and there's a brand new article that just came out yesterday from the EdTech Nerds, the top 10 ways to make a splash with Wakelet. And I thought for those of you who've been trying to make your splash for the very first time, maybe that should have been the title, right? Make a splash with Wakelet. This would be a great one where you can look through here and you'll see 10 different ways to utilize this. Everything from digital portfolios to interactive lessons, to even my template for sub plans from last time. They're all in here that you can look at and utilize. So feel free to read that at some point coming up. But again, I just wanted to pack this full of material and topics so that you could see. One of the last suggestions from the feedback form, and I want you to know I take the feedback very seriously. So I know creating a collections, I showed you a lot of collections, but I didn't go into detail much about how to create one. So I want to spend some time with that today. And somebody asked for visuals. So whoever asked for visuals, please know that's why there's 64 items in here. I totally understand the visual aspect. So I put visual pictures, images, and GIFs in here so that you can see every aspect to make a collection. So if you haven't signed up for your Wakelet account, please do so because we love having our users. Since I joined the team in August, we went from 4.5 million average users to now 9 million average users. Most of those are educators across the world. We have a bunch of users here in the States and growing wildly popular, day after day. So we're really excited about our educators. And when you sign up, if it does ask you for your role, please select educator because that gives you extra privileges for working with content, right? So when you do sign up, if you need to, just remember you can sign up with any one of our SSO options. You can sign up with Google, sign up with Microsoft. If you'd like to, you can sign up with Facebook. Zuckerberg doesn't mind. Feel free to sign up with whatever it is you like. But then you're taken to a collections area. That's That's where a lot of people tend to get lost right away, is they sign up for the account, they're super pumped, and then they come into this stark blank spot. And they're like, what do I do? I forgot what Ryan said. And I liken that to a notebook, right? We don't want to buy a notebook and you open the notebook and someone else written in it. We don't want that. We want that notebook to be clean. And so you can control that. And that's what a Wakelet collection is, right? It's your clean notebook so that you can fill it full of the materials that you think are most appropriate. I also liken it to those old binders, right? Those old trapper keepers we used to have. This is your digital trapper keeper, right? Running to the store and trying to not get the Lisa Frank one because I wanted some sort of sports one, and I always got stuck with Lisa Frank. It's fine. I don't have residual issues from it whatsoever, but being able to track and keep all of my collections in a single location, it looks great. It looks pretty. I mean, look at the example just right there, being able to have a visually appealing way for all of my collections to go through. So let's talk a little bit about navigation as well, Lisa Frank for sure. Navigating your Wakelet collections. So we talked about Wakelet, but we didn't go over like what everything does. We have a search bar, and our search bar allows us to find content based on anything you want. So feel free to search for something that's relevant. I'm from Pennsylvania, so something near and dear to us is Groundhog's Day. So I can look through here and I can find collections made by other people. Not all of them will be ones that are vetted or collected or anything else, but I can click and check out these collections at any time. And this one seems to be more, tweet based. So I can go into another one, maybe this Groundhog Day here. It's going to have some information, some fun facts, some videos. So I can search for different content. And if I like one of them, I can click that sprocket wheel and I can choose to save this to my bookmarks, right? So I can bookmark content. Wakelet allows you to bookmark as much public content collections as you want. You can't copy this collection. Notice there's no copy to, and that's because every collection, the owner has the privilege of saying, do they want to allow people to make copies or not? It's kind of like a copyright security aspect. So you can choose whether to share your collection or to share it where other people can make copies of it. So you do have that option to do that. And if you want to make a copy of this, I can just click save. I'll have it in my bookmarks. I can use it. I just can't change the way that it's laid out. All right, so search becomes a really great way to find those topics of things that are of interest of you, or find inspiration, right? I can see that Groundhog's Day. I could click to open up all those links, and then I could rearrange them into my own collection. So I can become inspired by somebody else and then curate those same materials, but in a different order and even add to it. We have our Explore tab, and that Explore tab is what's popular on Wakelet. This is person-driven curation. So this is not an algorithm. This is about 5 members of the Wakelet team, including myself, who sits down and we look at all those collections that are being shared. And we say, like, what are the ones that are hot right now? What are those topics that are popular? We find some things that are really cool and we share them out and we move them up the ladder on this popular on Wakelet. So that's why I said, if you share out your collection and it's really good, we'd love to forecast and feature you right here on that popular on Wakelet tab. We have our bookmarks section, and that's where anything that you bookmark from across the web can come in. It could be websites, it could be anything else. It could be Wakelet collections. And you'll see I've got a bunch of collections in here that I think are interesting that I've shared before. So I can pull these in to any other collections that I'm creating. I, of course, can add more bookmarks here, websites, but I can also do that with the Wakelet extension. So if I go to any website that I'm on, in this case, I could go to espn.com as a sports person. And if I'm just quickly looking for a resource, I could click that Wakelet extension and it's going to ask me what section do I want to add this to? What collection do I want to put it in? So if you are one of those big tab people, I'm not a big tab person. You can see I've got 4 active tabs going on. That's probably enough to cause me some consternation here. If you're a big tab person, this really helps because you can start organizing. You can start researching a certain topic and have 4 or 5 tabs open and just start clicking that W and putting them into the collections. Then you can go into the collections and organize them how you wish. That Wakelet extension is available at, I believe it's Wakelet or extensions.wakelet.com. And you'll see it is available or Firefox, Chrome, and Edge. So feel free, I'll put this in the chat for anybody who doesn't have it yet. If you haven't downloaded this, please do. We also have our app in the App Store. So for iOS or for Android, it works really great. Does the same thing. You can click the share arrow on anything, the little share arrow. That's what we call it, the share arrow. And we share that share arrow and it goes right into collections so that you can utilize that as well. So extensions and that share arrow help you get a shortcut. Then you've got your collections, right? Your house where everything lives. You have all of that. And then you have shared with me, which are the collections that are shared from across other people. So you'll see like my birthday was last month. They made a little birthday collection for me. So you can see that they shared this with me. I do like candy. So obviously I'm having candy for dinner. They know I like sugar. So there's just a lot of candy in the background. It's a great way for me to find all of those materials and resources that have been shared with me that I didn't make a copy of or that I'm allowed to contribute to, and they all live in that single space. And then down below that, I have what's called spaces. And spaces are like those subfolders inside of Google Drive, because you could just have a Google Drive chock full of stuff, but then it gets harder to find your materials and resources that you're looking for. So for me, I know when I go on conference trips, I like to document my conference travel with like pictures and videos and tweets and images about all the events I go to. So I start making collections for these. I have my roadmaps that are hidden in here as well. I've got my role specific collections. So when someone says, hey, can you share an ELA collection? Boom, I go to role specific collections and I know where it's at, but it's not taking up space in my just general collections area, right? So I can create a space at any time, and we'll go over this today, but it's really easy to create a space and set up some locations for you. So we got search, find and inspire, and find materials that really resonate with you and maybe copy or add them to your bookmarks. We've got explore, that what's hot at the moment. We've got our bookmarked content that you can bring in, and then those collections and shared with me that we can add. Now, there's a lot of GIFs in here to show you how to add content. And it's really quick and easy. As many of you know, you're going to be copying and pasting and adding content into your collection. So what's really great is now we've got some new options coming down the road. So video upload and video record is coming. Plus, we've got some really more options coming. So of course, I can copy and paste and put my link in here, and it's going to populate right away, which I know a good many of you have already started to do. There's the text editor. Remember last time I said click all the buttons, and I hope all of you have been clicking all the buttons. Feel free to use the text editor. I can say hi, right? I can bold, I can italicize, I can do a bulleted list, numbered list. I can hyperlink to other things. But remember, whatever you put in with text, when they click the three dots or immersive reader for you, or when your audience just clicks that immersive reader speaker icon, any typed text can be read out loud or translated in over 67 different languages, which means you've got a great equity for your ELL learners and, in essence, your ELL parents as well. So when you're looking at that broader reach, the more text that you type into your collection, that's how I do it. I kind of like narrate my collection with my words so that whenever you take this collection back and you look at it later, you know exactly what's in there. So I'll take out my word hi. You'll also see that with the image icon, I can upload images. I can design with Canva. So right away with 2 clicks, I can click and start designing inside of Canva. It could be an infographic. It could be just a background icon. I have full access to my entire library. All of my uploads are here, right? I don't need 3 uploads of my photo picture, but it's in there. Our Wakelet mugs, there's a picture of my daughter, right? All of my content's in here so that I can utilize and design with Canva. It is a great powerhouse tool, and we know how much educators love Canva, and we do too. So it's great that it's built into our platform. Your bookmarks, again, they show up right here. So if I click on it, all of those bookmarks that we just saw in my bookmark section are available. I can also do, this is the new feature, the video record and upload. So you'll see I can instantly upload video. That means imagine your students out on a field trip recording a video or summarizing what they did on a science fair project and being able to upload that video in here. They don't have to use Microsoft Flip. It's still embedded into our program and our platform. But if districts don't want to use it for privacy concerns, they can use our video recorder as well. So we're trying to level the playing field and provide an equitable base for all students. You will see there is a 3 gig limit for uploading video and hosting that files here. Of course, we still allow you to upload your PDFs, which are incredible. So your field trip permission slip forms, any of those important papers that need to be sent home can be added. And then everything else is still in here. But just a note, the tweet icon and the tweet feature is broken thanks to Mr. Musk and the API changes. So the only way to add your tweets in now is to go and copy the URL for each tweet and bring them over. Excuse me. So vice versa, we can't just use that Twitter button anymore. And then make sure you play around with the paintbrush icon. So I always tend to, excuse me for a minute. My throat's starting to scratch here. Make sure you look at the cover image, the background image, design with Canva, go through those, but look at your layouts and think more about your layouts for what the intended audience is going to be. For the first couple, you've seen me in media view, top down, going through my content, because to me, it's a playlist. And I think I go through that concept quite a bit. Compact view will shrink it down into smaller tiles so that you have the ability to look at, still your Twitter account. They can look at your compact view. It shrinks down all your tiles. If you have 80 tiles on a collection, you might want to choose compact view so there's not so much scrolling. Grid view is 2x2, and it allows for like comparing and contrasting. It's great for debates, putting content on one side, content on the other. Mood board is that whole layout where you can just see everything like Pinterest, get a whole thematic unit going. And then of course, column viewing. You can change these at any time. So before we get too much further, I want to take time and go over, I put some different videos in here, why you might use each layout, how to reorder some content. Just know if you put cards in, and you can use the hamburger menu. So you can grab this little hamburger icon, you can rearrange as much as you want. You can also click the three dots and send something straight to the top, or you can move them up and down by one. So you can rearrange your content through the three dots as well. And this makes a great professional development portfolio. That's not what this intended GIF is for. But imagine being trying to come up with a collection. You're being evaluated, domain 4 for Danielson framework. You're trying to showcase your parent contact, what conferences you've been to, all the PD sessions you've been to. You can put your certificates in here and then share that out at the very end. So I'm going to pause. We have our very first task. I'd like to give you just a couple minutes. I'm not giving you the estimated 30 minutes that's on here, but I'd like you to take a look at this and let's see if we can't get started just a little bit. If anybody has any questions, now would be a great time to ask about creating a collection. But my task for you today, and this might go along with Wendy's topic about using it for the first time, let's create a collection about a topic that sparks joy for you, right? It's a time of renewal, it's spring, everybody's kind of getting excited about a new season. So let's try to take some time. I'll give you about 10-ish minutes to look at starting a collection. And if you need help, I'm here to ask any questions so that we can get started. I kept it a nice, easy topic, just so you know. And you can come off mute or you can just type them in the chat if you have questions.
And you could even, I will add to that too, you could even think about your memoirs. Think about a moment that sparks joy too. So it could be a double dipping there.
Perfect. Yeah, anything, growing a garden, whatever. I'll make one at the same time just so you can see my process. I always choose the same topic. I'm a fiend for cookies, especially chocolate chip cookies. And I always start with my cover image first. The Canva rabbit hole is where I get stuck though. I love playing around in Canva.
So we search for what brings us joy, and then what do we do? Like,
Oh, no, you don't have to search. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a collection. So
oh, where do
yeah,
I do
we're
that?
just going to take, so we'll go up to, let me finish typing this and I will help you get started. Oops, not chocolate chip. I want chocolate chip cookies. There we go. All right, so I'll publish that. So all we're doing is we are going to start making a collection on any topic you want. So from your Wakelet collections icon, just go ahead and click create a collection. And we're just going to quickly make a topic based on something that sparks joy for you. It could be anything, very open-ended. I'm doing cookies. So we don't have to use the search bar. You can if you want to. I'm going to go out here and use Google, and I'm going to search for like some chocolate chip cookie recipes, maybe some videos, and I'm just going to add it to my cookies collection. And fix my header.
I truly get lost in the Canva aspect of it all as well. The
I do
rabbit
too.
hole is deep.
Yep, it is too. And I spend a lot of time because I want my background to match my cover image. So yeah, it's a real life problem.
Yes, I'm very OCD, and like I'm the same way. Everything has to look flawless and streamlined, and I love the different clip arts and stuff, and I just keep adding. And the fonts, I get lost in font heaven comparing fonts.
I totally understand. I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one. That makes me feel a lot better. So I'm just going to copy and paste this recipe web page in. And a lot of people get confused too. Like they think you can only add content in that little add bar. So if you like to put your stuff in top to bottom in an organizational way, if I go to the last item that I have something in, I can click that blue plus sign that pops up and I get an add bar down below. So I can add it in line to where my content is too. So I'll search for chocolate chip cookies here. Oh, we got something in the chat. Making all the Canva headers, yeah. Tracy, that made me feel much better.
Wendy voluntold me to do a hand lettering course at our peer-to-peer meetup in a couple weeks, and I cannot wait. I'm going to go ahead and start putting all of my resources and stuff into a Wakelet for everybody. I'm currently driving to another training, so I'm listening to you, but like as I'm watching you make the cookie one, I cannot wait to put all my hand lettering resources into a Wakelet for everybody.
That's great. I think it's a tremendous resource. Again, it's, you know, for me to leave the classroom after 18 years, like it had to be something that I thought was transformative. And this wasn't meant for education. This is intended for business uses and people sharing, you know, the best use cases back and forth. But educators, it happens every time, right? They find something, they latch onto it and they make it theirs. And the whole pivot, right? This is all pivoted towards education. And that's why there's no ads on the site, so that kids and teachers alike can use this, right? This could easily be ad driven, but it's not. And I think that says a lot about the company and the belief in the educators at the same time, to say that we respect the educational aspect. And that's why you don't have ads and distractors everywhere.
I think you've already answered this, but I want you to confirm. So if I put something in that I mentally like, I know is going to come later, I can always
Mhm.
move it.
Yep, you can always move it. Yep, I can click that
Okay.
little hamburger and move it and rearrange, or I can click the three dots and go to top to bottom, up or down. And you can even change the layout. So if you decide later on you want mood board instead,
Unrelated to Wakelet, but I have never heard anybody call it a hamburger. I've heard waffle, but I'm now obsessed with hamburger for the three
well,
lots.
if you know me, it's all related to food regardless. But yeah, so because it's got the three, I think of the top bun, the bottom bun, and the hamburger in the middle. To me, that's a hamburger menu. I consider the waffle to be like the Office 365 or the Google waffle, right? Where they got the icons, the 3x3, because that's where I want to fill all the syrup in.
It makes total sense. I was gonna say butter. I have to have butter in every hole,
Yes.
like of the waffle, or peanut
I
butter.
prefer butter and syrup in every spot, so it makes sense.
Fair.
All right, so now that everybody's getting started with their collection, I know it sounds mean of me, but I'm going to pull you away from your collection just so that we can keep going. I know that curation aspect is strong. So we'll give you time to finish up later, but I want you to just take a quick reflection question on this. What lessons or activities in your classroom do you think could be easily made or modified into a collection? Is there something you do already that could be made into a collection and shared with students, or a lesson or unit already made? All right, and you don't have to answer, it's okay.
So
As long as the wheels.
Go
ahead, Heather,
I
yep.
made a collection that was social emotional resources, and I already have like a Google Sites page that my students and my staff and the community can access. But I took a lot of those resources from my page and put them in a Wakelet. So
Perfect.
they have just different links that they can click on, videos they can watch, different apps that they could go to and explore and then download if they want for mindfulness and things like that.
Amazing. Great way to use it. Now, sometime somebody in the last session, they asked, how come I have these pretty little, graphics that are moving to break up my sections? Because we don't technically have sections inside of a Wakelet. So what I did is this Canva collection right here, if you click on it, it's going to take you to a template of mine that you can download and use this. So it's a 1500 by 300 image, and you can customize this template, and I'll show you what I do in a minute. I make a bunch of these little dividers and I animate the text, so it's just a GIF. So it plays over and over again as a loop, but I upload them as images. So when I click upload an image, you'll see I've got all these different GIFs. This one says art class, coming soon, conferences, and then I label them what they are because I use them so often, except for the copy of copies. So I have all of these saved to my desktop, and they're just a 1500 by 300 rolling image. And then what I do is I bring these in and it loads up, and that image then becomes my divider. So now I put my content above and below certain things. So feel free to take this Wakelet collection divider template, copy it into your Canva account, and start making these really cool dividers to help segment your collection materials out, just like I do. And of
How
course,
do you copy it on your Canva?
Yep. So if you click that little Canva collection and click use template, it should take you into your Canva account.
Yes.
Where you can start editing this. So you can change the text that's on here. You can change the background image. You
So
can
when I
change
open
everything
them,
about it.
does that just automatically save it to my Canva account?
It should
Just
go
by
right into
opening
you.
it?
Yep. If you click home, it should open up as a design that's already available. Yep, because mine did right there. Copy of Wakelet banner template. And you'll see mine. I keep these going. I've got 30 of them right now. I use them for everything. Even when my wife and I went to New York City for our trip, it was where are we eating? And I made a banner to supplement where it was. So we make all of these. It's just a neat way for me to kind of divide my collection materials up. So someone asked that last time, so I wanted to share that with you with everything else. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is how we can share materials in a different method as well. The banners are pretty cool. I like doing that. It brings a little element of, I don't know, creativity to the collections as well. Everybody has a public profile on Wakelet. And if you didn't know where it was, you've got this tiny little icon in the upper left-hand corner, and you can click on your profile and you'll see public profile. So if you go ahead and click on that, it's going to take you out to your public profile page. And this is what other people can see if they try to search for you. So you'll see mine is wakelet.com/Ryan McGinnis. And if you go there, you can steal all of my templates and all these materials that are here and available. So all of these things you can just click on and make copies of, right? It's my way of going to sessions and making it easy for people just to copy my materials because they're all here. But if you were to do a training or you made a really awesome collection that you want people to see, you can create your profile and publish your collections to these. So when you go to your profile for the first time, you can edit your profile and you can choose a header image to be up here at the very top. You can choose your profile picture and it'll show up right here in the middle. And I got the blue check mark because I work for Wakelet. You can have a purple check mark if you're a Wakelet community member. If you're a Wakelet ambassador, it's usually an orange check mark. And if you're a community leader, I think it's pink. So you can see the like verified check marks based on your level. If you don't like your username that we've assigned you on Wakelet, you can always try to change it. I could not be Wakelet Ryan. Someone else already has that, or I couldn't just be Ryan. So I am Ryan McGinnis. It is my name anyways. I can also change my display name down here and my little bio. So because I was an elementary teacher, I love emojis to help go and tell the story with everything. So I got like the family emoji with the 2 kids, 1 girl, 1 boy, my house, my links. And I put my links to my socials so that if anybody visits my page, they can quickly click on my Twitter. They'll see my Twitter feed, my LinkedIn, my Wakelet profile, and my Instagram. So they can track down all of those materials. And then you can add new sections, which are like mini banners on your profile. So I just segmented them based on what works for me. There's no right or wrong way. But I made I was at Mac Hall in Michigan in 2023 here back in March. So I wanted my session attendees when they went to wakelet.com/Ryan McGinnis, that was the first collection they saw. So they could click on it and make a copy, right? I'll probably move this one off because I don't need it anymore. But all of my materials can be fluid on here. Well, what I mean by it can be fluid is that when I go into collections, I can choose whether a collection is shown on my profile or not. And I do that by clicking the share button. And when I allow my collection to be shared, that's one thing, but notice this publish to your profile button. This collection is not visible on my profile. No one knows I like chocolate chip cookies as much as I do. But if I toggle this on, it's now on my public profile. So I can go back to my profile page. And if I scroll to the bottom, just by toggling that on, my chocolate chip cookie collection is going to be at the bottom under uncategorized. So you can control what the public can see. If you don't post anything to your profile, they're just going to see your name, your background, your low bio, and this. That's all they're going to see. It'll say this user has not published any collections. That's completely up to you. But if you want to generate a following or share resources or materials, inside of that share menu, feel free to click publish to profile, go into your profile, and then you can move it and organize it into different sections. For my visual learners, I document the entire process down below. So in that collection, I show you exactly how to organize your content, how to use the sections, and I even have a link to mine. And if you want specifics, because I know Heather, she already loves Canva. She just told me, if you want to go down that rabbit hole again, you want to make a really nice Canva banner for your Wakelet profile, there's the dimensions, 1920 by 360. Your profile picture is 200 by 200. And then if you're making a collection and you want to have really cool items, your background is this size and your cover image is this size. So your profile is available. You can change these and edit these at any time. It's just a way of showcasing your best work. And I think it's like a portfolio, right? I even had one for a while. It was my portfolio. And then I took it down for a little bit. It must be. The next thing is I have examples of all of our Wakelet integrations. I know it's hard to explain what Wakelet does because we do so much and there's so many different integrations. This little collection will showcase you what it's like to have a Kahoot challenge inside of a Wakelet, or what a Nearpod lesson looks like inside of a Wakelet. You can click on all of these. They should all work. Maybe not the Kahoot challenge because I think I left that back in March. But PDFs, Genialese. I just wanted you to see what all of those tech tools look like when they're put inside of a Wakelet account. So all of these things are in here for you to play around with and see. And again, it's not something that you need to look at now, but it's something that you can look at later. And the idea is that we want you to collaborate. So we have collaboration. I know you just had a session on Padlet. I know I saw when I was trying to do my my social media tweets earlier today. So you can do collaborative Wakelet collections very much like a Padlet can do. So you can bring and enjoy the idea of collaborating with your colleagues, like maybe a shared resource hub where you can put all of your materials into a single location and you can share this, right? I can go over here and say, you know what, I'm going to share this collection and have it so that it is set up for somebody. And I can do that, go to my cookies collection, I hit share. The first one is your view only link, like the one I shared with you, but that collaborative link's right here. And I can share this link with anybody and you can all contribute your best chocolate chip cookie stuff, right? I can also give you a join code, so you can just go to wakelet.com. That's great if people don't have Wakelet accounts. So if you're working on like a parent engagement night and you want them to add their thoughts to a board, give them the join code. They can go to wakelet.com. They can type in the 6-digit code and they can be joining right away. You can also join from a QR code. So on open house night, if you want them just like have stations around your school, have the collection set up ahead of time, use the copy link for collaboration and print off the QRs. When your parents come by, they can scan it with their phone and up pops the collection they can add to. So maybe at the gym class, or the PE class, it's what's their favorite exercise. At home ec class, it's what's their favorite recipe to use at home and cook together. So you have that ability to add and contribute together with collaboration. We're going to try a collaborative link together, just like it would work with your students. So this collaborative playlist collection, yes, it has SpongeBob on it, so I apologize, but it was the best one that worked for music. So if everybody could click the SpongeBob collection, it should, and I'll pop it into an incognito window. It should ask you to add your name. And it should say anonymous bore or anything else. If it doesn't, that's fine too, because it might know that you're logged in. But it should take you to this collection then, where you can add one of your favorite songs. My collection, my image is already in there. So I added Panic at the Disco, High High Hopes. My kids love that song. It's one of the ones we have to listen to every morning when I drive them to daycare, which I think is, it's great for me. I can get you the link, absolutely. So what I can do, for those of you who are ready and inside of that collection, go ahead and add to that collection. Go to YouTube and you can pull up, your favorite song, type in whatever it is, grab the music video, paste it into the web address, and then after a little bit, we should start to see some other songs being added in here to the collection. I'm going to add the link into the chat, the collaborative link. And this is always a fun activity. It's also a great way to look at how students are taking attendance. I can see them contribute from inside of here. There we go. So we got our first one, pop it in. And it's nice. I can see Laura added her material to this. This is tough. It is hard. But I think the best part about it is this works in a couple of different ways. Not only is this like I'm taking attendance, I know who's in my class. It's also an SEL component. I'm creating a class playlist that during downtime in my class, I can pull these songs up and play them as long as they're, school appropriate. But it's a great way to build that community inside of the classroom. So we'll wait for a couple others. If you want to go find your music video and add it into the collection, just get the share link or the URL from YouTube.
So when I did add from YouTube, I've typed in my song, the artist, it came up some options for me to click. So when I click on it, it does a blue check mark, and then what?
Yeah, I noticed it's glitching for some reason. So I just messaged the team and said our YouTube integration is broken for right now. So I don't know what's happening. I had to go out to YouTube and find my song itself from YouTube.
Gotcha.
So it is a known issue. Thank you for telling us that, though, Rebecca. Mine's the same way. It got stuck. I clicked the check mark, but there is no add button.
Yeah, that was the same for me. So when you said that, I was like, okay, like, is it because I have a split screen?
No, you're all set.
No,
you're
something up. Like if something's gonna be messed up, it's usually me that finds it.
no. It broke this morning. It worked while I was setting up this morning's session because I could add my song in, and then it broke right afterwards. So I don't know. I must have broke it for the most likely solution.
Let's see.
There's Heather's suggestion. So I'll copy the link and add it in place for Heather. There we go. So look at all of those coming through. And what's nice is because I added that, I can actually edit it. So I know this is Heather's. I can say from Heather. I guess it didn't show up here. I have to edit again. But you can see everybody's collection inside of here. Again, it's a great way to just collaborate. You can do this with anything else. They can add text images, they can add text boxes, they can upload photos, right? So this becomes that collaborative board. Students could be going around on a shape hunt around the district, and your little kindergartners are taking their iPads and clicking photos of the circles and the squares and triangles they see around their building. And then they can upload those pictures in here and showcase where they found them. It could be a field trip and they come back and they show you what their favorite moment of that field trip was. You have a lot of chances to collaborate and work with everybody as well. And I love the playlist idea too.
Ooh,
To me,
be
nothing
prepared on our immersion trips. This just gave me an idea.
to me, there's nothing better that brings people together than photo, video, and music, right? Those three things, and food. But those three things I think are easy to aggregate together in a school environment. Imagine being on an open house night, right? And you have this as a station where it's contributes something, like what's a family tradition or what's something that you've done, and every student or family can contribute something to that collection. I'm on my phone and it won't let me paste the link. Greta, I apologize. I know. Oh, the being on the bus, the playlist, absolutely. Should you see your name in the box? Your name will not show up in the box because you added it. I will see everybody's name except for the things I added. So I don't see a name on Heather's, Katy Perry, or my YouTube. I'll see the names for everybody else though. But what a cool way. And I can let this go. So these, you can still contribute as much as you want. And I can even stop this later on. I can turn contributions off, which I think is cool. So in that share menu, I can go down even past the collaboration. And you see, I've got everybody in here who can add. And if you have accounts, I could say like, Wendy, you've added too much. No longer can you add, I can remove you. And then it's just a solid state, right? I can even add somebody to help me edit the collection. And I'm working with Lumio right now. We've got a Lumio and Wakelet webinar on Thursday where we're building a collaborative collection together. So she and I can add at the same time. So this becomes a really great use case for collaboration as well. Some other great use cases for this collaborative feature. It's not just students putting things in. Last year during Wakelet Community Week, we did a collaborative story time. And this was, you create a story, you write one sentence and everybody had to follow up your sentence with another sentence. So Don got us started with, it was a hot summer day, hotter than it had been in a long time. Today, the plan was to meet down at the river to hang out and chill. And then someone else came in and they wrote the next line. I could not wait. I had been a while since I'd been out of the house. And then someone else picked it up and they kept writing. So each entry is a different person adding to this collection, and it tells a running story. It's almost like that game of telephone that you used to play, right? You tell somebody, they tell somebody, they tell somebody. By the time it gets back to you, the whole thing, the whole phrasing has been changed. But this is a story that's being told one at a time as it goes around the circle. And by the time you get to the end, you'll see where that collaborative story has gone. I put a whole section on collaborating with Wakelet in here. So feel free to watch that. That's Jamal's very first Wakelet video. So I'm really excited he stepped in front of the camera to show us all the different options. And I can show you again how to do the banners. Yeah, absolutely. So those banners, they are just that template. So if you click that template back here and go ahead and click use template, it'll go into your Wakelet account. And all I do, I'll walk you through the whole step process, actually. That's a good question. What I do is I get it the way I want to. I animate my text, right? So I click the animate button. I do like the breathe, so it moves. And then what I do is I click share, download, and I do a GIF. So if you're taking notes, I download it as a GIF, not an MP4 video. It would work now because we have video playback, but I download it as a GIF. And then I download it, and it's always going to go to my downloads folder. And then what I do after I download the GIF is I find where I want to put that icon or that little divider collection. And I click to upload a photo. So upload an image. And then I pick the GIF I want to use. So in this case, I'll pick art class. And when I click open, it's going to load the GIF. And then it's going to start playing its GIF. So it's going to be in a loop, right? It's going to keep doing all the animations at once. So there comes art class bubbling up to the top. And if I put it in the wrong spot, I can grab the hamburger and drag it around wherever I want to. Trust me, if you thought Canva was a rabbit hole, wait till you try designing these for your Wakelet collections, because this becomes addictive even more. For something about me, and I think many others, once you started making these, you're like, ooh, I can segment all of my content, right? Here's this, 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 this. And I think there's something really relevant about that. Absolutely, Jennifer, no problem. All right, now I know we're nearing the end of our time, so a couple other things I wanted to touch on. If you haven't already, join the Wakelet community. We have a Wakelet community program. And if you click that icon, you can join and apply today. You'll start as a community member, and they will work your way up so you can apply to be a community member. As they start to see you sharing and growing the Wakelet love with other people, they'll bump you up to a community leader. And that gets you the pink check mark on your account. You get, I think you get a t-shirt for you and something else like a sticker to go on your laptop. And then the more that you share as a community leader, you can apply to become an ambassador. And an ambassador gets you an exclusive t-shirt, so Wakelet ambassador t-shirt. It's a really nice t-shirt. And then there's chances, you know, Tisha and I go around the country. There's 2 of us for 50 states, and we're trying to do all of these trainings, all these onboardings, all these conferences. We can't be everywhere. And we rely heavily on our ambassadors to sometimes help us out. So if there's a conference going on in your area and we can't be there, we pay some of our ambassadors to go and represent us. We send you booth materials, t-shirts, stickers, and we help you get started in that booth section so that you can represent Wakelet. And those are the ambassadors. So if you're interested in ever, you know, growing that, I was a former ambassador and now I work for Wakelet. So I think that's a testament to, you know, they bring in the people who know the platform the most, and that's how you get to do that. So it's free. There's no paid version. You don't have to do anything. You can join to be a community member at any time. And then I put our upcoming Wakelet events. You know, I'm happy to be here. I'd come a 3rd time if you want, but we have tons of Wakelet events. We've got some webinars that are always in here. Tisha is hosting a book creator and Wakelet webinar coming up in May. So May 11th, you can click on and sign up for. And our big event, this is our keynote of the whole year, Wakelet Community Week. It's an entire week of PD. So you can click on this. It's June 5th through June 10th. It gets started on Monday, June 5th with our big keynote, Wakelet Live, where we announce all our new features, the updates, the products. I'm sure you'll see every one of us from the Wakelet team at some point in a recorded session. And then throughout the rest of the week, Tuesday through Saturday, we've got like a 24-hour live stream where it's global. We have teachers all over the world sharing how they use Wakelet. And I think it's impressive to see just how far this platform goes and the ways that other people are using it. So if you haven't had a chance yet, feel free to register for Community Week. I would love to see a lot of those familiar faces and names joining for Community Week as well. And then, so there's the Community Week thing. Our YouTube channel, hey, feel free, if you ever need help, I put a lot of the videos in there, but we have all of our YouTube videos are in here and our past workshops. So here's our multilingual learners workshop that we just did last 2 weeks ago, I think, 12 days ago. So there's Tisha and I, plus Feli from Flip and one of our ambassadors. If you want to look back and find other things, there's last year's Wakelet Live if you want to prep yourself for this year's. But you can go back through. We just did a webinar with Matt Miller and I on ChatGPT. If you want to see 5 reasons why Wakelet's the greatest, and you want to see more videos of me, they're on here. My kid loves to watch the videos. Don't ask me why. She thinks I'm like a celebrity now. And then I put this at the very end because this is something I just made for one of my other members of the team. They wanted to know how teachers are using Wakelet in real life. So this is a curated collection of use cases from across the web. So they're all tweets. Some of them are a couple collections, but I wanted to show you, like, here's a teacher in Buffalo, New York using it for peer feedback. And they make these collections and then they share them out so that they can get feedback. Here's story ideas. Here's a district doing lost and found. Again, it's that great use case for using lost and found. Student blogs and microsites. Podcasts are taking over, education altogether. You can share your podcasts out. And I love, this is one of my favorite ones. This is a podcast from a local friend of mine that they sponsor and they feature one of their student athletes each week. And he puts their recordings inside of a single one. So you can listen to the whole podcast right from inside of Wakelet. So every episode is inside of there. I think that's a great use case. But I put that in there so you can see, here's example of student projects. Everything is available in here. So I want to make sure that there's more to the whole collection than what you might expect was in there the very first time. So now, chance for some questions. What pressing Wakelet questions do we still have? Don't be shy.
I know this is a really simple question, but I'm trying to figure out taking your presentation you just did and saving it. I've missed that, how to copy and
no
paste
problem.
or because I went up to the toolbar and I'm at the save items on my screen, but I don't know what to do.
Okay, are you looking at my collection right now?
Yes.
Okay, so in the upper right-hand corner, do you see a sprocket wheel?
Yes.
Go ahead and click that and you'll see
Yes.
copy to.
Yes.
And hit copy to. And then it should have your account over here on the left-hand side. And it's going to say KEDC Part 2 copy. Go ahead and hit copy.
Okay.
And now if you go back to collections on the left-hand side, it should show up right here in the very first slot.
It did. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I just missed that
No.
completely. I was not putting I was clicking the button, whatever was offered below.
Yep,
So,
no problem
thank
at all.
you.
I'm happy. And that's how you can copy anybody's that allows you to, right? So of course the owners get the choice to allow people to make collection copies or not. So if they allow you to make copies, that's what I do. I copy a lot of material out there. I'm really excited about the video option that's coming. Yeah, that's going to be shortly. So you can see mine has beta on it still, but it works really well. If I click the icon, upload video, it's looking for any video on my device. And then if I click record video, probably because I'm using my camera, I might affect it, but it's going to let me, hey, there I am twice. You get double Ryan, right? I can start recording right away. and it's going to show up in there. And it has automatic capturing or captioning, which I think is one of my favorite things, is the captioning comes right off of your video. So you don't have to upload any kind of files. It's equitable from the very beginning, meaning your students can read and hear the captions right from the screen. So I would stay tuned. That's probably one of those announcements for Community Week, but you can get a sneak preview of it today. Greta's joined as a community member. I can't believe the time's up already. Trust me, I agree. I've had a lot to cover in the same time. I'd love to give you a little sneak preview if you don't mind. Let me try this. Alpha.wakelet.com. Let's see if this works for me. Because we know education is always changing. And if I can give you a sneak peek, I'll give you a sneak peek. Oh, I can give you a sneak peek. Look at that. So AI is everywhere. So imagine being able to have help making your collections, right? So the first part of this is like, imagine I said solar system, 5th grade. Suggest me some content. Let's see how accurate it gets. And let's see, oh, it's going to pull up some documentation. So look at the AI system pulling up. It's going to give me a suggested lesson plan, some suggested activities, and some links and videos that I can instantly add to my collection. So talk about coming in and not having an idea, getting started. We're really trying to simplify that down. So I can start coming in here and say, hey, look, here's some worksheet resources. Here's some video resources. Here's some other sites to really help build that content. And that looks kind of, not Wakelet. So here's the pretty version. It's getting prettier. Now we can type in solar system. And I click the magic Wakelet button. This is closer to being the finished product. Now it's suggesting me cover images. Down here, it's going to tell me, do I want to suggest a topic or content? So I'm going to say, hey, suggest me some content, please. And now, do I want videos, links, or images? So I want some videos. And hey, look, there's a planet. I can preview the video. This is my favorite thing. I can preview the video before I add it. So I still have that human curation element. It suggested it for me, but it doesn't mean I have to use it. So I can watch this video. I can click add. Boom, it's right into my collection. Now I say, give me some links. It's going to pull some information. Here's our solar system. Put that in there. Maybe I want some images. This is going to help those teachers who maybe have the greatest ideas to get started, or they don't know where to start, right? I showed this to my wife the other day and she's like, oh, this might be what gets me into Wakelet, because she's tired of staring at the blank canvas of like, where do I go next? So this is coming down the line as well. AI to help you generate and build those collections at the same time. A little sneak peek for you. Yeah, very similar to Canva, very similar to the AIs with everything else coming down the line. But other than the sneak peek, any other help or assessments or questions or anything else I can help with?
I have a question.
Mhm.
When I want to add my Wakelet to our Renaissance Leaders page, how do I do that?
To their profile page, you mean?
Well, it's in spaces.
So what you'll have to do, each space has, that's one of the confusing parts. That's a good question to ask. So let me show you. If it's inside of a space for something else, like it's down here, I can go portfolio materials. These sections and collections are separated from my normal collections. So I can't put like my student portfolio examples into my public profile because this space keeps it hidden from my profile. What I can do though is I can make a copy of this and put it in my general collections. And now it's going to show up under collections slowly because I changed my, there we go. Now it shows up in here. Now I can go in here and add it to my profile. So because you have it into spaces, that's the downfall. Spaces is great for organizing your content, but it doesn't link to your profile. So what you might want to do is make a copy of it first. If that makes sense, Jamie.
Well,
That makes sense for us. I think like on our end, I think that makes sense because Jamie has our Jamie at KDC has made ours in spaces, which is great for our collections. But I
Right.
think what we need to do is move it back into collections, which would make it very easy for us to get all of their information.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Ryan?
Yeah, if you want to publish it to your profile, it needs to be in collections,
Mhm.
not in a space. So what I often will do is I'll build it into my space first, and then I'll just make a copy of it elsewhere.
So
like
if
my
they're wanting
school-
to share information with us and it's in their collection, should there just be an easy way that they're sharing their collections with us?
Yeah, if they just want to share it with you, this is in my collections, I click share,
Mhm.
allow sharing, and say copy the link, and they can have at it. And if you want
Okay.
them to make a copy, click that sprocket wheel and say, I allow you to make a copy of it.
Oh, so we need to make sure
Yeah.
everyone has those items checked.
Yeah, you want to make sure allow copy collection is on, because that allows people to make copies.
Mhm. Perfect.
Yeah.
So here's
then
another
you can-
question.
Mhm.
Oops, sorry. So if, like, if I share a collection and then later on I decide I want to add some more to that collection, like for example, if I have a collection for my art class and I want to add upcoming events later on or like throughout the year, anybody with that link, will it update for them? Like as I
Yeah.
update it, or will I have to share a new link?
No, the minute you add new content, that link works. So that's the best part. You don't have to reshare that link at all. The only reason I would not is if they made a copy of it first,
Okay.
right? If they made a copy, it's like a solid state copy version that saves it as is. But if that link that they have that's original, they can keep going. I can go add something right now to the to the presentation part 2, and you'll see it if you refresh your screen at the very bottom.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, just making sure are you good with your question? I don't want to leave you hanging. Just know you can always reach out to me at any time. So I am on Twitter at Ryan McGee Tech. I am also available by email, ryan@wakelet.com. Feel free to bombard me with questions. It is completely okay. There is no dumb question. You can ask me whatever you need. If you need help or further suggestions, I'm happy to hop on a Google Meet or Zoom call or anything else to help get you over, any hurdles or humps that you may have. Happy to do it. By all means, use me as a resource. And I want to see your collection, so tweet them out. I want to make sure that the team knows what you're doing.
And we'll make sure too that we send out, those directions to make sure that we've got everyone's collections that are shareable among the team. And that's one thing that we will work on our peer-to-peer too, if everyone can be there. And then for all of the other days, that's something we'll work on summer conference as well. So if you don't have any other questions, or if you do have other questions, I'm going to share the session evaluation. Ryan, this has been absolutely fantastic. I've shared it once in the chat. I will share it again. Everyone make sure that you complete that. We had like 70, I think up to 75 on here. This was fantastic. Again, the AI stuff is just incredible. Wow. But all the things that Wakelet can do, I love the collaboration, having students. That's again, another thing that I'm just blown away about Wakelet. Love it, love it, love it. And that's something that, we had fun doing, we could watch, but think about with your students. I always draw it back to your students. If we can all sit around at 4:30, 5 o'clock and have fun doing that, imagine the engagement that you're going to get with your students. Always thinking back about, will our students enjoy this? If you can have fun doing that after a long, hard day of teaching, imagine what that's going to look like with your students. So always going that back, dialing our focus back in, your students are going to love it. So Ryan, thank you for that. Thank you for an awesome session, an awesome part. How'd you say it today, Dr. Evans? Awesome part. Do.
Part do. Yeah.
So this is great. I know, I can't do it right.
It's due late. I will say it that way. It's due late. And I know that's the incorrect form of two, but there you go. What does it matter?
This
And for
is
everybody
great.
else, look back through that collection. I narrated my way through. So there's pictures, there's gifts, there's screen captures. Like if there's something that you're still not clear on, check that
Mhm.
collection and make sure it's not like the tips and tricks aren't in there. But feel free to ask and I'll help you.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. This is wonderful, and safe travels home, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
Ryan.
Thanks for having me back in.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
see you soon.
Awesome. And I look forward to seeing all this on Twitter. So tweet out about today's awesome session and tag Ryan in it. This was wonderful. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you, everybody.